Thank you for joining me today. What I want to discuss today is what I call the dirty side of resin. You know, the side of resin that's not often, if at all, shown on YouTube. And if you're considering working with resin, I think it's important to be aware of some of the less glamorous aspects. And because I am going to be I am working on a project, I thought now would be a good time to cover some of those things. So I have some resin here. Let me go ahead and get it poured, and then I will talk to you about or show you what I'm talking about. Let me get that scooched over into the corners. Just get all of this out of there. Okay. And I see a hair, so I have to fish a hair, a fuzz. I don't even know where all the fuzz comes from. Let me get that out. All right. So let's start with, I just mixed some resin, and even while mixing, you tend to get it on your gloves and it's sticky. So I always have wipes nearby to wipe those off. Because if you touch anything with your gloves, regardless of what it is, for example, the long neck lighter, even though I wipe it after every project when I'm using it, they're sticky on it, and it is going to be notoriously sticky. That's just the way it's going to be. But let's talk about, for example, my measuring cup that I use to measure my part A and my part B, my mixing stick and cup, because I do like to reuse stuff. Let me get some of that out there. I do like to reuse as much as possible until it can't be reused. But there's always the cleanup. Now, what I do, just like I showed you, see, I already have some sticky on my glove. I use a clean, this is actually an alcohol cloth or alcohol wipe to clean my gloves. And once I'm done using this, I toss it into, and this doesn't look fancy at all, a little plastic bowl of used alcohol wipes. That's what I use first on my equipment. So, for example, my stick, I'll give it just a wipe down. And then, of course, once I'm done doing that with this, because you do, even though you try to scrape it all out, there's always some in there. And so I will take the cloth and put it in there and get as much loose out as I can. Throw this one away, grab another one, set that down, and do the same for my pouring cup. And once I get down in this cup, as you can see, it's going to get all over my glove. And because I do get some on the outside of my cups, I get it on the other glove as well. But let me get out as much of the loose stuff as I can. All right, so I've got that. Now I'm going to take that alcohol wipe, try to wipe my gloves a little bit. And this is the cleaner of the wipes. And then I will wipe my tools with this one. Same with the containers. And I try to get down in there. And this wipe is and your mat, if you've dripped, and I tend to drip everywhere. And this alcohol wipe will go into my little bowl, and I'll grab a fresh alcohol wipe. And I'll do all first my gloves, because I'm going to be touching that stuff. I don't want the sticky to come from my gloves onto my tools and stuff. And again, I'll do the tools first. Oops. Then my containers. And depending, I mean, sometimes I manage to just drop this stuff everywhere in little drops. So let me put those aside and wipe up any drops that I may see. Sometimes I don't see them, which is another story in itself, and we'll get to that shortly. All right. So that's one of the first things. Now I actually have to wait for this to finish this project so that I can show you even more, because it really does relate to the desk and stuff. So I will see you when we get to that part. The project's all finished now. The next step is you'll be wiping down your molds and your mats, taking your tape and getting, any excess chunks of resin off. And then you'll need to wash your mats and your molds in warm soapy water and let them dry before storing them. So let me go ahead and move this leveling table out of the way for a second. Now, when I first started resin, I started with the necessities. I bought a small bottle of A and B and like 3 little coaster molds. So I didn't have any mats. What I used was this, and what this is a disposable cutting sheet. And I had no idea I was going to drip everywhere. So let me move that out of the way and kind of show you the workstation. Let me see if I can't pick you up here so that you can see some of the spots. Now this is where I tried to scrape it off. That didn't work well. But I have resin kind of dried everywhere and mica stains. So that I have mica stains and resin spots everywhere. Now, I didn't know to expect that, and maybe it is common sense. But I had very little knowledge of resin. Now, do I regret working with resin? Absolutely not. Let me see if I can scoot that. I'm out of focus, aren't I? Sure is. Let me see if I can fit. Whoops. I'm just throwing you everywhere. Anyhow, I'm not trying to discourage anybody if they're thinking about working with resin. I just kind of want to give them some idea of what to expect as far as cleanup and stuff is concerned. I have never seen a video showing all of this stuff, and maybe this video will help somebody. Now, do I regret working with resin? I don't. I really don't. For me, I absolutely love working with resin, and it's had a very positive impact on my life and is well worth the effort of the cleanup. So I hope that this video has helped you some. Let me know in the comments below. Also, consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I will see you next time. Thank you.